And we're back. Let's go for another 20, 25 minutes, a late one. And another reason I'm doing it, like I said, it's just 10 days. Well, I think it'll be in the 11th. In 11 days, we're going to be doing live watch along. I don't know if you're going to be joining me for them World Cup matches at night.
Not the half 12, 2 o'clock one.
Brother,
The weekend.
you're chilling with me anyway. You said not them, innit? He's contemplating it. Look, we'll be sat here on that screen there. We're going to be watching it. Literally.
He goes to do work the next day after 1 o'clock.
The Portugal Colombia game.
Is
Half
it-
12 in the night. I go work the next day.
Oh, you're already back at work, man. What the hell, really? Brother, you need to pull some blender till the World Cup final or something, mate. Especially if Ronaldo does something against Colombia, then, brother. Wow. You're going to be wanting to be on the Colombian white after that. Not going back to work. You know what I mean? It's true, isn't it? The Puro, as me and Mustafa was saying earlier on, and talking about Diego Maradona and his time as one of the greatest number 10s in World Cup history. So what we're doing right now is the greatest World Cup team of all time, the greatest World Cup team that I've seen first of all, I'm going to go through. Then who I think is the greatest overall World Cup team. Obviously, I was born in 1994, 90, 86, 82, 78, 74, 70, 66, 62, 58, 54. That's 10. About 15 World Cups before we were born. So obviously there's a lot of history there. There's a lot to go through. But let's go through. I started watching the World Cup. The earliest memory I've got is the 2002 World Cup. Watching that very vividly, remembering Ed Milson's goal against Costa Rica when Brazil won. I think it was 5-1 in that match or 5-2 to beat Costa Rica in the group stages. But I think what everyone in this nation remembers is the fact that our schools allowed us to watch England with Brazil in the early hours of the morning at 7:30, because the kickoff was, I think, at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And all of them had these projectors set up in the big halls and the main sports halls. And they made everyone support England. And I swear down, I don't know why. You can get at me if you want, say what you want to me, abuse me all you want, right? I don't know why I've always been against England. I know I'm born here, I know I'm a Brit. I understand that. I accept that as well. You can't change that, can you? There's no changing that at all. But I don't know why. I swear down, I still remember celebrating when they lost against Brazil then as well. I was just so happy that the cheek and arrogance of this nation to think they were going to beat that Brazil team, boys. Come on. I know Owen only put my head because of a mistake from Lucio. If Lucio didn't make that mistake, I can't remember England troubling Brazil in that match, other than Owen's goal at the start. And Ronaldinho, wow, what a performance, man. Not just the goal, the assist for Rivaldo, the way he drops the shoulder on Ashley Cole, and then perfect way into Rivaldo. Rivaldo, one of the great number 10s in World Cup history as well. You know what? I missed him out, and he doesn't get mentioned a lot. That was a brilliant World Cup from Rivaldo. We always talk about that and we appreciate that World Cup a lot, yeah. He did a lot in that World Cup. What I want to mention is, do you remember the game against Turkey in the group stages? This funny guy. That is one of the World Cup's most controversial and funniest moments ever. The guy kicks the ball at his knees. Rivaldo falls down like he's been shot in the head with a sniper. Wow, that reaction was one of the funniest ever. Just goes down clutching his face like this, like, oh, what the hell are you doing? And he's just, so hilarious. He got fined for that, yeah. And the Turkey were asking for a bando.
I'm sure Turkey player got booked or something as well.
Yeah, Umit Davala, the one that kicked at him. I'm sure it was Umit Davala. Do you remember Umit Davala at that World Cup? The one with the mohawk. Straight down the middle of his head and that. What a team, man. Turkey, 2002. Rushtu, Rekbe, Alpine, centre-back. Two guy. Yildirim Bastek, Hassan Sash in our left wing. Hakan Shuka up front. Oof. Top teammate. Ilhan Manzis. I remember a World Cup moment this guy gave us, right? It's one of the great showboat moments in World Cup history. The 2002 World Cup, Turkey v Brazil in the semi-finals. My man pulls out a rainbow flick over Roberto Carlos' head on the throwing line. Out of nowhere, the way he just executed it, yeah. And Ilhan Manzis tried this a few times in his career, right? I think it's one of his signature skills. But to do it in a World Cup over Roberto Carlos, the audacity, the cheek, what a team that Turkey team, man. They were all the way to the bloody semi-finals. What was it? The toe of God, they called that Ronaldo toe poke, innit? That's the one. R9 coming out with it. What a flipping finish that was, man. So ingenious that finish was, in it. No space in front of him to just poke it through. And the first one was a good goal as well. But yeah, Rivaldo, what a World Cup he had. He's got 5 goals. The goal against Belgium, goal against England, in the final, it was his dummy that led to Ronaldo's goal. What a dummy, man! Again, what a World Cup he had. Brilliant player. Won the Ballon d'Or in 1999. So the greatest World Cup team that I've ever seen. I'll go with my goalkeeper. I was torn between two. I wasn't really torn between them in the end. I just thought about the other one late on, really. It was Manuel Neuer. Gianluigi Buffon is my pick. The 2006 World Cup, Fabio Cannavaro won the Ballon d'Or. Italy conceded 2 goals at that World Cup. One of them was an own goal from Christian Zaccardo, a complete miss kick, and the other was a Zinedine Zidane penalty Panenka. He was impenetrable. Gianluigi Buffon was impenetrable. He was the wall that could not be beaten. It was unbelievable, man. What a World Cup he had. And for me, he deserved the Ballon d'Or over Cannavaro, just over Cannavaro. In the semi-finals against Germany, Cannavaro won man of the match, but Buffon, the save of Podolski. In the final, the save of Zinedine Zidane when he headers it and he just tips it over the bar. The leadership qualities that he showed throughout the tournament, right? Unbelievable. Coming off the back of Juventus's probably biggest ever and worst ever scandal, and he was the biggest player with all the transfer talk that was around him. Arsenal and Manchester United were very, very close, if you remember, in the summer of 2006 to signing Buffon. He decided to stay with Juventus, and then that World Cup he gave is one of the great World Cups of all time. And then at the 2010 World Cup, 2002 World Cup, he represented Italy. At the 2014 World Cup, the last World Cup they were at as well. So for me, Gigi Buffon, my favourite goalkeeper, and for me, the greatest goalkeeper of all time. At right back, from the greatest team I've ever seen, I was torn between Philipp Lahm, who had a brilliant 2006 World Cup, a brilliant 2010 World Cup, and then he was the captain in 2014, and Cafu. And I'm going to give it to Philipp Lahm for the longevity, because I've seen him in 3 World Cups. I remember his goal in the 2006 World Cup against Costa Rica on the opening game. Yeah, you remember it straight away, where he cuts in. Torsten Frings got a bad goal as well, yes. He cut across it, and he went in, and Lahm cuts in. Yeah. What a goal, man. Just everything about that. That World Cup for me is the greatest World Cup. Best World Cup, best teams, best players for them teams. The golden gen. You know, England, there's the documentary right now out on BBC iPlayer called The Golden Generation, right? And I've said this before to you lot. Go through every other nation. They're probably all better than England, unfortunately. England were just bigging themselves up. The Portugal team they came up against, like I was talking about that day, Deco, Rui Costa, Figo, Cristiano was in the team, Pauleta was up front, Ricardo Carvalho, Ricardo in net, Brazil, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Adriano, Kaká, Juninho Pernambucano, Gilberto Silva, Lucio, Dida, Cafu, Roberto Carlos. Rivaldo was in the previous World Cup, part of that generation. They didn't take him to the 06. I'm just to mention the 06 squads here, yeah? France, Ribéry, Vieira, Makelele, Thuram, Zidane, Henry, Trezeguet. Italy, Del Piero, Totti, Inzaghi, Pirlo, Gattuso, Camoranesi, Grosso, Zambrotta, Nesta, Cannavaro, Buffon. These are the cream of greatest players for the nations to have ever played for them, arguably. I'm mentioning Czech Republic, right, had bloody Jan Koller up front of Milan Baroš, the 2 greatest strikers. Pavel Nedved, the greatest ever midfielder. Tomáš Rosický is probably number 2. Karel Poborský is probably number 3. And Petr Cech in net. Marek Jankulovski was AC Milan's left back, if you remember that guy, right? Starting in the Champions League final in 2007. Scored in the UEFA Super Cup in 2000. Oh, what a goal against Sevilla. Do you remember that goal? Marek Jankulovski, UEFA Super Cup. I tell you why I remember that. My boy, mate, Andrea Pirlo, the pass he gives to him. And the goal Jankulovski scores. Anyway, I digress there. Philipp Lahm, I put a right back. And a left back. A left back is Fabio Grosso for me, man. What a tournament he had. Unbelievable tournament. I never knew who this guy was before 2006. I'm not going to lie to you lot. I don't think most of world football, other than diehard Italian football fans, knew who this man was, right? Coming from Palermo, he started his career in Serie A C. Making it up the ladders to put in such a great performance over the season, right? Where he's got the recognition of making it to the national team for the World Cup. Not just the recognition to start for them. And then what a World Cup Fabio Grosso had. As soon as the knockout started, Fabio Grosso just activated. Against Australia, the man wins the penalty in the final minute that Totti buried in the top corner. Against Germany, He gave us one of the great World Cup celebrations ever. What a moment. For me, my favorite, I'm going to do a separate live and podcast on this, right? My favorite ever match in football history that I've ever seen was that 2006 semi-final, Italy with Germany. Just everything about it. End to end, the drama, the excitement, the 119th minute, Grosso doing what he did. Then Del Piero, my favorite player of all time, like personally, right? What a moment. One plan, so can't even make 3. Can't even make it. Can't even get there. That's why I cry about these moments. Anyway, and in centre back, boys, I've gone for, first of all, Carles Puyol. 2010 World Cup, this man was a rock. Got the winning goal against Germany in the semi-final with that flying header from Xavi's corner. And throughout the World Cup, he was an absolute rock. And he was a great, great player in that World Cup. And I know it's a bit of a left-wing choice, but for me, Carles Puyol and Fabio Cannavaro again. So I've gone for 3 Italians, obviously. They won that World Cup in 2006, hence why I've gone a bit heavy Italian in the back line. And I watched that, and that's a very vivid World Cup. In the midfield, what formation we're going for is, we'll just go for a classic 4-3-3. Or shall we go for a classic 4-4-2?
Who was the second centre back?
Carles Puyol and Fabio Cannavaro.
Who's the left back?
Fabio Grosso. Philipp Lahm right back, and Gianluigi Buffon in net. Now we go into the midfield. The first player I pick in midfield is Zinedine Zidane. The 2006 World Cup. The man came out of retirement. France was struggling to make it to the World Cup in the qualifiers. Raymond Domenech, the worst manager France have ever appointed. Because at the next World Cup, it was proven to be absolutely correct that this man is a joke. And the documentaries on Netflix now, the documentary, right? And you can see this guy used to pick players based on their star signs. You know, after they got eliminated at Euro 2008, you know what he did? He proposed to his wife. They were asking him, analyze the game for us. He goes, but what's more important to me, the whole nation of France is watching you. He goes, Estelle, my girlfriend for the last 10 years, would you marry me? She rejected him.
Deserves it.
Absolute turnip of a guy, right? Anyway, Zinedine Zidane, what an absolute story this is. One of the great World Cup stories of all time, man. He came out of retirement. He convinced Makelele and Thuram to come out of retirement with him, and he said, I'm not coming out of retirement unless you two are with me. Right? His trusted lieutenants with him. Brought them on. Got them through qualifying. Before the World Cup, very famous friendly against Ivory Coast, Zidane scored. Getting his mojo going, getting his groove going. Played his final game for Real Madrid before the World Cup started against Villarreal. Scored in that game. Swapped shirts with one Roman Riquelme. Everything was leading up to Zizou's final tournament. All them great players I mentioned to you at that World Cup. I could go through every... Boys, this is what makes Zizou one of the goats of all. One of the greatest. I've got goosebumps thinking about it. Go through every team. This man outshone every single player at that World Cup. And he was 34 years old. It was his last ever tournament. He came and he said, you know what? This is my last dance. And I'm going to show you what I'm about. Zinedine Zidane is the greatest footballer ever to not rely on goals and assists. You ask anyone that watched Zidane play, and they said this man doesn't need goals and assists to make him look and be as good as he is. This man is football. The elegance that was running through him, right? And in the group stages of that World Cup, Zizou wasn't at the races, you know. It wasn't amazing. He was finding his feet. Throughout them group stages, there's a famous tournament they played South Korea. It was at Leipzig, you know, Red Bull Leipzig Stadium, yeah? He kicked the locker room door. That's how angry he was at halftime. Leipzig could never fix that door. You know that. You know what they did? They put a plaque next to the door. This is the door Zinedine Zidane kicked in 2006 v South Korea. They kept it as a memorabilia of the part of the stadium. Now Zidane was angry in that moment, right? He got them through the group stages. They played Spain. If you remember when they played Spain, right? And that's it. Zizou started turning it on me. Against Xavi, against Xabi Alonso, against Cesc Fabregas, Puyol in defense, his boy Casillas. He got the 90th minute goal. And then the greatest performance of this man's career. He gave us the ultimate performance against the ultimate showboaters, the Joga Benito boys. And it wasn't just Brazil. It wasn't players that just put on the Brazil shirt. It wasn't ordinary Brazilians on the pitch that day. This Brazil was touted to defend their World Cup. This was arguably one of the greatest Brazil squads that they've ever taken to a World Cup, right? This was one of the most feared lineups they've ever had. Dida, Champions League winner. Right, that Cafu and Roberto Carlos, both World Cup winners. Lucio, World Cup winner. One in the centre back with them, right? In central midfield, Juninho Pernambucano, Gilberto Silva, Zé Roberto was there. They had Robinho, they had Ronaldinho, they had Kaká, they had Ronaldo, they had Adriano. Phenomenal. Unbelievable. Do you know what Zidane said? Today's my day. See you later. And he outshone all 21 guys on that pitch. From minute 1 to minute 90. Have you ever seen a full performance of pure flair, pure class, pure skill? The first moment, what does he do? He drops his shoulder and Lucio and Gilberto Silva puts, Patrick Vieira in. No, sorry, he drags it through. He does a step over on that guy. He does a little skill on Cafu. He does that control on Kaká. He knocks it over Ronaldo's head. Zizou won the 1998 World Cup, led a dysfunctional French nation and united them together, a band of immigrants who came together, and this man was the leader. He's my number 10. That is the first one that I put in my team. And next to him, I go for Andrea Pirlo. No, I don't. I digress. The reason I'm not going to put Pirlo on my team, I put Luka Modric in my team next to him. 2018, what Luka Modric did was beyond fairy tale and storybook tales and this kind of stuff. It was unbelievable. Leading a nation of 5 million people, right, to the World Cup final. Leading them. Best player every game by example. When they played England and they went to, was it penalties in it that they beat England? This guy, remember when extra time kicked in, boys? He went up a different gear, man. Modric started. No, they didn't. It wasn't penalties. They beat him over extra time, didn't they? They beat him in extra time. Modric took it over. That's what I'm saying. Modric took up. I remember it was him. Him and Rakitic went up another gear against Argentina, the same World Cup. Unbelievable. Even in the final, right? France were just too strong for them. But look at Modric at that World Cup. I would have put Pirlo in, but I'm going to give it to Modric. And I'm changing my formation. Yeah, I said this is a 4-3-3 actually. And the third guy I've got is Xavi at the 2010 World Cup. Oh, boys. Xavi was just knitting it. He was just the glue to everything that Spain did in that World Cup. It was Xavi in the middle of everything. Got the assist for Puyol's goal, like I said. Unbelievable. So that's my 3-man midfield. Zizou, Luka Modric, and Xavi Hernandez. The 3 greatest attackers I've seen. Ronaldo Fenomeno, Kylian Mbappe, and Lionel Messi in World Cup history. Ronaldo in the 2002 World Cup, coming back after playing 3 games in 18 months or 6 games in 18 months.
All the talk was about his fitness.
All the talk was about 100%. Has he still, they weren't even, it wasn't about has he still got the ability. It's just can this man get fit enough to make it to the World Cup. This man had one other thing on his head. Redemption. Vengeance. Before the 1998 World Cup final, what happened? He had a seizure. And it ruined his opportunity, his moment. After scoring 7 or 8 goals, leading Brazil to that World Cup final, right? That was his moment. Zinedine Zidane stole the limelight and he became the world champion. Ronaldo had to wait another 4 years. And in that 4 years, his peak got destroyed. His body got destroyed. Everything, man. Look at that. And this guy had the courage. You know what they told him? I think the first 3 surgeons he met, oh, you're never going to walk again. Or you'll be lucky to walk again. Forget play football. Do you know what he said? Every time they told me that. He goes, I got scared. But I was just looking for the one guy to tell me, you've got 5% chance of playing football again. I was looking for that guy. He goes, once I found him, the expert guy that did it with me, he goes, then that's it. The mindset was set. If I can play football again, even if it's 10%, 15%, and then you should see the training regime he went through. There's videos of Ronaldo in his rehab, right? Unbelievable. Boys, forget it. His kneecap ended up in his thigh. And then to rehabilitate yourself to the level where you're the best player at the O2 World. The World Cup's about you now. You're leading your nation to glory. 4 years after you were robbed of your chance through to bad health. Bad health have not robbed you of your chance of turning up to this World Cup at your peak. Everyone knows who watched Ronaldo in the 98 World Cup and the 2002 World Cup knew there was a big difference between the two Ronaldos we're watching. However, this guy still conquered the world with one That's how great Ronaldo is. I'm sorry. It was, and the haircut to take all the attention away from his knees so that people don't talk about the seizure. This guy was so scared that he doesn't have another seizure. Look at what was going through his head. He stayed up all night. I watched the documentary, right? I think it was with Dida, who was the backup goalkeeper. He gone to Dida's room and he goes, listen, let's stay up all night. He goes, why? He goes, I'm scared that if I fall asleep, it could happen to me again. So look what this guy's going through mentally, man. He stayed awake all night before the bloody World Cup final. And he goes and bags too. And that's it. He did it. Golden ball.
The time when he scored in the final and said, everyone was saying you can't move. You don't need to move if you got ability like that.
Exactly.
Just stood there,
passed it into the net. You're right. And that Oliver Kahn was the dog's bollocks at World Cup. He won the best player of that World Cup. You know, he's the only goalkeeper to do it. Yeah, they gave him a head of. He got them there single-handedly. I think is the most saves in a World Cup match until Tim Howard broke it against Belgium at the 2018. Remember that Tim Howard performance? Yes. It was Oliver Kahn v America. Check that out. America v Germany, and Oliver Kahn kept him in the game. In that, very famous. What was more famous was his sideburns. Scary guy, bro. He came into that World Cup like he wanted to bloody kill everyone. Forget winning. Remember them sideburns? Them sideburns and Del Piero's. Who's better? Del Piero's is sick, yeah. Do you know Del Piero? I've always deeped this, yeah. Del Piero was such a fashion icon that his sideburns were so sick. Every single football fan that seen his sideburns wanted to copy them up.
Everyone.
Innit?
Everyone had their sideburns right down here, or they had a point in or something.
Squared. He had the best sideburns going. Del Piero had some sick sideburns. Messi obviously going to his 6th World Cup now. Record for the outfield player. Him and Ronaldo are both going to break it. He's got the most appearances in World Cup history. Finally conquered it. And Kylian Mbappe, he's going to break the record this World Cup. What a player. Kiki, unbelievable. This guy was made for the World Cup, if anything. If nothing else, he was made for the World Cup. The first teenager since Pele to score in a final and win it. The first man to score a hat-trick in a final since Jeff Hurst. He's breaking records left, right, centre. In his 3rd World Cup, he'll be the record goal scorer. He'll have the outright record for a long time because he'll be playing another 2 World Cups after this World Cup. He's 26 now, or 27.
How many goals is he on?
He's on 12. The record's 15. He's going to get 4 this World Cup. 100% he'll get 4. I'm telling you, he's breaking in this World Cup. He'll have the outright record. He'll probably finish with 20 to 25 World Cup goals if he goes in the same trajectory. His first World Cup was 4. This one, he won the Golden Boot with 8. And there were brilliant goals at this World Cup, man. That double against Poland, I remember. Top bins and then the one in the near and the goal in the final, man. One, for me, the live moment there, if you're talking, and I'm saying this is the greatest World Cup team that I've ever seen. That is probably... In that moment, he transformed.
He changed you.
Yeah, I wish I could get I still can't find that footage of me going mental. It was unbelievable. I don't know. I think I did it. Yeah, it was mental. It was just unreal. Like what he did to take it on the volley as well in that moment, right? After scoring to score the penalty when he scored it as well in the 79th minute, right? It's a World Cup final, all that. And you knew if Mbappe missed, they're all going to jump on. All the pressure in the world, Then the volley, man. 90 seconds later, to have the audacity, he could have taken a touch there. He's got time to take a touch. But 100%. Messi did lose the ball to Coman.
3 penalties in that.
There's a sick little edit I've seen, right? Where when Mbappe scores that goal, Messi falls to his knees in it, but he doesn't go all the way down. They go 2014, Messi would have fallen to his knees, but his soul dragged him back up and said, you got one more chance. Because in 2000, he's literally about to fall to his knees like, oh, we're about to lose. He gets back up. He's like, oh, yeah, no.
I think that was the Kolo Muani chance.
Maybe. Is that, you see that? And he's sick in it. And then he springs up like he's like, oh, we got a chance.
Have a chance on the other end.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's crazy. What a game. That's the greatest World Cup match of all time. Forget greatest World Cup match.
Lautaro has that header right.
Yeah, Lautaro has the header. Yeah. Straight after Kolo Muani. And that was a good headering opportunity, man. He just he times it wrong. Remember, Messi had the chance as well just before that long range shot. Not a chance, but he fashioned the chance. Well, Lloris tipped it over, man. And he got some serious hand power behind that, man. That was a whack. So, yeah, Leo Messi would be on the right and Mbappe would be on the left.
Probably the greatest World Cup game that I've ever witnessed. Like.
A greatest game.
Ever,
hands down, greatest game. The excitement, the nerve, just the moment.
The adrenaline.
Yeah, everything, man. And it was crazy, man. It was crazy. unbelievable moment. Hopefully this World Cup lives up to it. Let's see. But that was amazing. So there we are. That's my greatest World Cup team that I've ever seen. Greatest World Cup team. I'll go through it now. Gigi Buffon in net. Fabio Grosso left back. Philip Lahm at right back. I've got Fabio Cannavaro and Carles Puyol in centre back. In midfield, it was a 4-3-3 formation. Xavi Hernandez, Luka Modric, and Zinedine Zidane. And up front, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, and Ronaldo Fenomeno. If I was to tweak that team to the greatest team in World Cup history, I would take the centre backs. I would take Carles Puyol out and I'd put Beckenbauer in for him, first of all. I would take Fabio Grosso out and put Roberto Carlos in for him. Who do I have at right back? I need Philip Lahm at right back. I think he deserves it, right? The reason I didn't pick Maldini is a left back is because he's never won the World Cup. He made World Cup teams of the tournament twice, but he never won it. He got to the final in 94, I understand, but I'm giving it a champion, Roberto Carlos. If in the midfield, I'd probably keep the same midfield. No, I'd take Modric out, put Maradona into my midfield, and then up front, I'd take Mbappe out and I'd put Pele in the overall greatest World Cup team. But after this World Cup, Mbappe could take Ronaldo Fenomeno's place and Pele, because he's won the most World Cups. That's why Pele has to go into my World Cup team. He won 3 World Cups, and like I was saying with Mustafa earlier, the story and thread of Pele's career is the World Cup, like intertwined with the World Cup. His first big moment, 1958 World Cup. 62, they won it, but he was really part of it. 66, when he came to England, everyone was excited because of the home of football. They bloody kicked him out of that World Cup. So many dirty play on him. And then 70, the first World Cup in Technicolor. Pele was there and he won it. So his whole story goes with the World Cup, and he's the greatest World Cup player of all time. So I would definitely put him in. So that's the only changes I'd make to the team that I've seen to the greatest team of all time in World Cup history, in my opinion. You would have your opinion. I would like to hear it. Share them. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on tomorrow. Bye-bye. It's on the top corner. Yeah.